I get discouraged for sure, and I will quit fighting at some point. And that point is when the first shovel of dirt hits the top of my box 6 feet down.
Everyone, better get myself up into the studio there so you can see me tonight. So anyway, glad to have you with us tonight. My name's Dale Parrish. I'm the virtual program coordinator for Convention of States here in Indiana, and I want to welcome you to our broadcast tonight. We've got we're going to make it tonight. We've got a great presentation for you. We're going to be talking about the Convention of States social media warriors, and we've had some difficulties here, but we're going to get through them, and I think you're going to enjoy what we've got going on for you this evening. Let me bring on my co-host, Ken Kashuba. Hi, Ken.
Hello, Dale. How are you?
Well, pretty good. Here, still a little. I
know.
I get excited when we have challenges like we've had tonight. You know.
Yeah. Some of it is certainly on StreamYard side, and some of it I think is on ours as well. It's just technical difficulties, and we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. Well, one of the main things that Ken does as co-host is he monitors the comments and questions that we get from viewers. So if you are viewing tonight, either through our Facebook page or hopefully through our YouTube channel. We're not certain whether that's available to you tonight, but if you have a comment or a question, feel free to enter that through the chat, and Ken will be monitoring those, and we'll put them. He'll put them up, whatever is appropriate for tonight. So
we're still getting the message from StreamYard, Dale, that they've lost our connection. So we may be without our YouTube channel tonight. We'll have to find out for sure. But
all right, that's
either way, we'll post the recording. So
yeah, we'll post the recording. So all right. Well, Ken, we always count the broadcast. Tonight is number 229, and you've been on board for 93, the last 93 broadcasts. So you're closing in on that 100 mark, aren't you? Wow.
We're in that countdown, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Well, listen, I want to go ahead and flash this up. We've been promoting and talking about a surge day coming up at the state capitol on February 7th. Well, we got word today that that has been postponed. Due to a scheduling issue at the state capitol. Is that what you understand, Ken?
Yeah. It's from what I understand, there will be no sessions going on. So I know that the legislators will be not active. So
okay.
That takes out a good portion of the reason we're there on Thursday.
Right. Now, we're hoping that we'll be able to find another day during this session, which this is a short session. It ends in March. Hopefully we'll be able to find another day to have this. But if we can't, then it kind of looks like we're going to have to cancel the surge day for 2024. But we'll, of course, keep everyone informed on that as things develop around that.
Yeah, so I know that as difficult it is sometimes to get a spot scheduled. They were talking about trying to maybe have it in March, but if that's not possible possible because of the scheduling tightness that's involved, then it might have to be canceled altogether. But we're going to give it our best to get it rescheduled.
All right. All right. All right. Ken, want to give us a little brief covering of the QR code up in the right-hand part of the screen there.
Now that QR code right there is our subscriber list QR code. We are in the pre-sign-up stages here, or when I say pre, we are looking to roll out our subscription list in February, which is just around the corner. So what we're trying to do is get all the early subscribers on board, so we know that everything's up and working. And we are looking to get people to just get your camera, scan that QR code, and sign up for our subscription list. It's going to be a COS Indiana Live membership type subscription where we'll keep you updated on upcoming programming. And there's a bunch of other features that we are looking to include in this. Things like some additional video type access that you can get, some PDF downloads that will help you understand more about COS and what we do here, and certainly even an area where people in our subscription list can kind of chat back and forth. So we've got a lot planned. We just need to get our subscribers going. So
okay,
and get that scanned and sign up for our subscription list.
All right. Well, Ken, let's move ahead then and get in with our program. We are tonight. We wanted to talk about the. Let me see. I got it here. This is the banner I wanted. The Convention of States Social Media Warrior. This has been a topic for some time in Convention of States, and it's all about utilizing social media to attract and to recruit and get the word out on Convention of States, growing the grassroots, and it's utilizing social media in order to connect with people that otherwise we don't utilize newspapers anymore very much, Ken, or things of that nature. In today's time, social media is the way to connect with the most people. So we're gonna delve into this tonight, and we're going to bring on some people tonight that are very active in social media with Convention of States. Let me get back to my banners, and so I can take that one down. There we go. Now I want to bring on the Ken's counterpart up in Michigan, Robin Riddell. Hi, Robin.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, Ken.
Robin is the SCC for Michigan. So it's Ken, and Ken is the SCC. SEC is the State Communications Coordinator. We're real big on acronyms in Convention of States, so we have to stop and we have to remember to explain those from time to time. So I want to bring on Robin and Ken. Now I want to bring on also a third person here. We were going to have a fourth person on, but he couldn't make it. Actually, we were going to have a fourth and a fifth person on, but both of them had unexpected obligations come up. So I want to bring on Marilyn Grant. Hello, Marilyn.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Marilyn. Good to see you.
And Marilyn is a social media warrior extraordinaire from the state of Michigan. And one of the other individuals that we were going to have on this evening, Ron Anderson. Am I saying that right? Arneson. Okay. Also from Michigan, another social media warrior extraordinaire.
Now, we don't have an acronym for that, Dale, so you better watch out with that extraordinaire thing. We might have to a whole new acronym.
You don't think SMWE, I guess. I could use that, I guess.
Good, I guess.
Actually, I call Marilyn and Ron our X team. They're the X team. In my brain, when I go to message them, oh, got to let the X team know.
Yeah, okay.
Like-
Yeah.
Extraordinaire, see?
Now, Robin, do you have other social media warriors that are somewhat active, or are these
Yes.
these two the main core?
I've got about a half dozen people. I really rely on Marilyn for a lot of reasons, and I know she's going to talk about that. Ron came on board a few months ago and has given us the additional support that we needed so that we could branch out into some additional platforms. I do have other people. They're active at different levels. I mean, I'm looking for somebody to just boost our message and push it out there. But Marilyn and Ron are the workhorses on the team.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to start with Robin, you and Ken as SCCs. Tell us what you see. What do you see as the role of the social media warrior in Convention of States?
Well, I'll jump at that a little bit, Dale, and let you see. Basically, the role of a social media warrior is somebody who volunteers, who feels that they can spend as little as 10 minutes a day, or even a half hour a week, just using social media to spread the message of Convention of States. And it's somebody who can get involved, become part of it, be a team member, to really kind of coordinate with the SCC, to basically be able to work the messaging, whatever that messaging is during the month, to spread the news using their social media platforms. So there are state platforms, and there's also personal platforms. So a social media warrior basically uses a little bit of each, and that pretty much is the role of a social media warrior, is to basically be involved and help spread the word via meme, via text, or recently even video.
Yeah. Robin, you have anything to add to that, do you think?
No, I think Ken did a good job on it. I think the key point here is that if somebody's got 5 to 10 minutes at a time and they know how to use social media, don't let that word warrior stop you. We're looking at people who can do 5 to 10 minutes at a time to amplify the message that we have, to help push it out there further into their networks and the groups that they belong to on the channels that they participate in.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. And I think, am I correct that we're finding that you can be a social media, everyone can be a social media warrior, right?
Yes.
I mean, we talk about this as a Convention of States position, like any other position, but in fact, anyone that engages in social media to any extent can be a social media warrior.
I was going to add to that, Dale. Basically, and we've done this here in the state of Indiana a number of times. The social media warrior, as you come on as a volunteer as a social media warrior, you are a person that basically has that's the role you've accepted. But we've here spread the word amongst everybody who joins as a volunteer and is part of our leaders group throughout the state, that no matter who you are a social media warrior. Maybe it's just not your main role, but as somebody who, as you said, has a social media platform of their own, it is a way of, and I'll use the word networking. I thought Robin described it perfectly, but I think it is a way of spreading a network out there of people that find out that there's a lot of us that feel the same way. We all shared similar goals in the love of our country. So.
Yep. Well, let's talk about then the recruitment and qualifications for a social media warrior, how do you go about recruiting people for this type of position?
I'll jump in. We do recruiting both online, and we do email blasts and text blasts. When someone decides to look in what they want to do to volunteer, they can read what we've just talked about, what the role of a social media warrior is, and apply, and then I'll get a notification. And you want to know about qualifications. For me, I'm happy when somebody volunteers. I will take the help if they can commit to, I say 30 minutes a week, even if you do it 5 to 10 minutes at a time. We've expanded here in Michigan as of January. We've added platforms. And so as long as you're active on those platforms, or we can help you with those, I don't care which platform. I just want somebody on board. We're a state of 10 million people. Not everybody's on social media, but most people are. So we need a lot of people to help push that word out. As far as, experience in writing the content, we're providing the content for them most of the time. It's either being provided on the page. I'll set missions sometimes and say, hey, let's really focus on supporting this event and push that out there so they know what the priority is for the next week to 10 days. Social media warrior doesn't have to create content. We are creating it all the time.
Ken, I think the issue of content is something that we've been addressing here in Indiana, right? With
yeah, and part of what obviously I think Robin will expand on that qualification wise. We not only do we provide materials that can be shared, but we also provide the necessary training. People that might feel that they don't know quite what COS is all about or how to answer questions. You really don't have to worry about that. Once we get involved, we basically can provide the information so that you can answer some basic questions and be able to at least point some people to the website or to other places that can provide the information people are looking for. So you don't have to be an expert. We do provide information to help people understand the basics about Convention of States and Article 5.
Can I piggyback on that? I want to stress how important that is, that we offer this free training. When I came on board, I have a marketing background. I've worked in this field my entire life and used social media. But I have to admit, the last time I had a history class was high school, which was decades ago. And frankly, I now look back at what I learned then, and it wasn't enough. So I appreciated getting the simple, basic background training on what Article 5 is, what we can do with it, understanding our nonprofit status. And this was something, the way we have it set up, it's work at your own pace. So I didn't know everything I needed to know about Convention of States. I still don't. But we get everybody up to speed, and so you're not out there working alone.
I think that's really important. I think it is important that these people that do this for us, they do need to have some basic understanding of what we're about, what Article 5 of the Constitution is about, and what we're trying to accomplish. So. That is important, and I think the training that we can provide is certainly important. When I started in COS, we're talking about like 2014 or so. We didn't have any of this training at that time, and we had to do this all ourselves. So we've come a long way here in Convention of States. COS University is what it's called, and for anyone that joins in, you'll be given access to that. So
Well, and a lot of that is video too, Dale. So, I mean, you can get on and
Yes.
watch a couple of 15-minute videos and know all you really need to know to feel confident to go ahead and be able to post and then, answer a question. People, I think some people are hesitant because they figure, hey, I'm not going to be able to answer any questions. But once you go through a couple of videos and understand the basics, and you can answer people's most basic questions that people are going to ask, really enthusiasm and emotion take over from there. And when people realize, wow, we're facing a big fight, and now I feel like I can get involved and do something. And I think that's the other key behind being a social media warrior, is realizing you can do something and make it work. We are the largest grassroots army in the nation. So, joining up in that area makes us not only larger, but again, the networking and spreads our message and gets that out to people. And I think that's what people need to understand. People aren't getting what we're able to deliver anywhere else.
It's a good entry level position. It really
Yep.
is to get started with Convention of States. Robin, do you have any specific ways of recruiting in Michigan? Ken, I don't know how we do this in Indiana. Do we have any other than gun shows and just talking to people, networking?
We go specifically into our database and recruit. And one of the things that I've done in the last year is I'm trying to encourage our district captains and event coordinators, when they go out and do an event, recruit a social media warrior for your team. Yes, they'll be on my team, but if you can bring them in, they're going to be there. They're going to live locally in your area, and that local geography matters on social media. And I've also trained anyone who wants to come. I've trained them on some of the basics on how to share a post, how to look for some of this, how to tag people. So more of our district captains and event planners and region captains are using social media because of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Well, that kind of lays the groundwork, I think, for what we're talking about here. I want to get now into our social media warrior extraordinaires. So, Marilyn, you're going to be coming up here very shortly.
Okay.
But first of all, I want to introduce, we had another social media warrior extraordinaire lined up for tonight, Ron Emerson, but he is, something came up. He couldn't be with us tonight, but he did provide us a little short video. And so I'm going to go ahead and play that. I want, and Ron goes into his COS story. And so when we're finished with Ron's video, then I would like Marilyn to come on. And Marilyn, you start with your COS story, the how, when, where you got involved in Convention of States. And then we'll get into what you do to be so good at what you do. Okay, so hang on there and let me bring up Ron here, and hopefully I can bring this up and do it all right. So don't go away, folks.
Ron Arneson, and I'm a volunteer with the Michigan Convention of States social media.
Okay, I forgot to tell everybody, you might want to turn your volume up a little bit here. When he recorded this, he didn't give us some good volume on this. So I'm going to start this over again.
Communications team. I first remember. Hi, my name is Ron Arneson, and I'm a volunteer with the Michigan Convention of States social media communications team. I first remember learning of the Convention of States movement several years ago from either Mark Levin or Rush Limbaugh via talk radio. Not sure which. I know they were both talking about it at the time. I remember being intrigued by the powerful simplicity of using Article 5 of our Constitution to correct some of the issues and woes I saw going on in Washington. I was amazed at the foresight of our founding fathers. It's just incredible that they could imagine a day like today where the federal government has increased massively in size and pushed their jurisdiction way past their constitutional bounds. The founding fathers installed a corrective mechanism into the Constitution for just such a time. Genius, really. And I remember that left a mark on me. So that was a few years ago. And although at the time I was very interested in the Convention of States movement, I was consumed by a very demanding career which really didn't allow me the time or the attention to engage with the movement. So fast forward to the middle of last year, I had just left my previous career and company, and suddenly I found that I had a little spare time and plenty of spare passion and energy. Shortly after, I somehow received an email soliciting volunteers for Michigan Convention of States. I responded, and here I am. For me, I needed a volunteer role that was super flexible and could be done from anywhere and anytime. Like you, I have lots of other things going, and I've found that I'm often traveling, so the social media warrior role is perfect for me. If you have a smartphone in your pocket and 10 minutes of spare time, you've really got what you need to be an effective social media warrior. So you may be wondering, what qualifications do I need to have to be a social media warrior? Well, firstly, and I think most importantly, everyone needs to realize you do not need to be a communications expert or an experienced social media operator to do this work. You can learn that on the job and by doing. For me, prior to joining Robin Riddell's Michigan COS communications team, I was very much a rookie at social media. I was mostly just passively reading a few posts on Twitter, they call it X now, and LinkedIn. Now, after a bit of coaching by Robin and Marilyn, I'm helping with content and posts on COS Michigan's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Truth Social media platforms. I'm still learning something new almost every week, and I've got to tell you, I'm really having a blast doing this. So what qualifications does one need to have? Most importantly, you need to have a passion to support the COS movement and to be part of the COS grassroots army. If you, like me, are tired of wringing your hands and complaining about the mess in Washington, and you're looking for a way to contribute and make a difference, you're going to like this. So the other qualification you need is to have just a little time to spare. If you have even an hour a week to contribute, even if it's just a few minutes here and a few minutes there, that's enough to get started. What about computer skills? Well, I would say it this way. If you have basic communication skills with your smartphone or your PC, for example, if you can text with your friends and family, you really have the stuff needed to get started. If you have more advanced skills, that's great. So what about equipment? What equipment do you need? If you have a smartphone or a personal computer or a laptop, you're good. I do most of my work via my phone, and many times I'm doing that work while I'm out and about running errands and away from home. So that's it for qualifications, really. So if Convention of States resonates with you and you already enjoy social media, why not take it to the next level and volunteer to help get the COS messages out? This is going to be a very important year for the Convention of States movement, and even a little of your time will make a huge difference. If you want to give it a go, connect with your local district captain or go to your state's Convention of States website and volunteer. Someone will reach out to you and get you going. You'll need to start with a few simple online training courses, which I found really to be very interesting and super engaging, so not a big deal at all. Once you've completed that training, you'll begin working with your state's social media communications team. You'll meet some really nice people, some like-minded people, people like you who really want to make a difference. And I expect that you'll have some fun as well. So thanks for listening. Good luck to you. And mostly, thank you for your support of the Convention of States movement.
Well, Ron kind of summed up the whole program tonight, didn't he?
Yeah,
Did.
nice, well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, he covered a lot of things that we've talked about, or reiterated, I guess, what we've already talked about. But yeah, I think Ron did a good job. Well, Marilyn Grant, tell us, first of all, tell us your COS story. How did you get involved in Convention of States?
Well, I think I'll start at the end of my story and then go to the beginning.
All
But
right.
I became a social media warrior in 2022, and then joined Robin's team, the state communications coordinator team. And so that's what I've been doing for 2022, 2023. And I continue to do, and I can talk about that later as far as what we do or what I do. But I wanted to say that I came to the team with a lot of passion, which I want to explain. And I also came with a skill set because I did Adobe Creative Cloud when I was a mentor on the the first robotics team. And I was involved in that for probably 10 years or 8 years, I guess. And so I had that to bring to the platform. And I've always had a desire to learn, so I brought that along. And so, that would be another point. I thought Ron's explanation was right on target with everything. And the desire to learn. If people have a desire to learn, wow, this is quite an opportunity for you, because the reason is that when I started in 2018, which is what I want to go into as far as the detail way back when, I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't care about it. I didn't, of course, know about Convention of States. And but I did want to learn too. So, and I have learned. So that's a really good point, I think.
Yeah.
But going back to 2018, that's when I first became aware of something being wrong with our country. And I just want to speak a little bit about maybe what led me to that realization that something was wrong. One thing was, and I think it started with this, I talked with my husband about a book that he had read, and it was called The Great Society, and it was Lyndon Johnson's Great Society program, where it was the first large-scale effort for government to take care of the people. So he had a lot to say about that. I learned a lot, and that kind of started me with questions that I had. Then I noticed in 2018, I noticed censorship on Facebook. I was reading Cheryl Atkinson's books, Stonewalled and The Smear, and she was posting on Facebook, and I was just becoming horrified of what was happening, and I was in disbelief. But also back then, I think I thought it was just on Facebook, but didn't realize that it was in other places also. And so that got me my attention. And then another thing was, I used to like to watch the late night talk shows. I got sick of the jokes. I mean, and I think Seth Meyers was the one I thought, when I was up late and I listened to him, I go, wow, this is very, it must be just him, Then I watched and I realized it was everyone. So that got me thinking about the narrative, okay? And so then I got into discussions with my husband and son, who were both political people, talked a lot about things. We're kind of on the same page, but maybe they were on different paragraphs on that page, so they saw things a little differently. But I got a lot of insight into the politics, and I was able to ask a lot of my questions. And so that was back in 2018. Those discussions with my husband and my son were priceless to me. So anyway, that's the beginning.
Okay.
Then in 2019, my husband and I, Nick, we agreed that we were not going to sit on the couch and do nothing because, we saw there was problems and we wanted to do something. So Nick joined Convention of States, and because he said, I think he listened to Mark Levine or someone, and he had decided that that was the best approach and that was the most logical, and it used the Constitution, and he was pretty sold on that and joined, became a district captain, a regional captain. And I didn't join at that time. I decided to do something else, but I said, I will support you, Nick, in everything you do on COS. And so I pretty much, that's what I did. I don't even know when I signed the petition or when I volunteered, but anyway, I was very supportive of what Nick was involved in. But what I wanted to do on my own is I wanted to become a digital warrior because I had already made it to that point where I was listening, I was investigating, and I was hearing everybody say, spread the word, spread the truth. You've got to get it out there to people because people aren't going to see it on cable TV and on mainstream media. So I said, I'll agree to help you, Nick, but I want to be a digital warrior. Well, that meant I got into all of these social media platforms and things, many that I hadn't been in before. Nick and I did this through 2020, 2021. The only thing I can say about those years is that during COVID, we both realized that we saw the narrative. I mean, because we were looking around at the different cable TV stations and we saw the narrative.
Yeah.
And that was becoming very, very clear to us.
Yeah.
And we canceled our cable. I got off of all social media and I felt so much better because the energy was, not all social media, the traditional.
Yeah, you're a social media warrior. How could you get off of social media?
No, I got off of traditional social media.
Oh, okay.
Well, then fast forward to when I started with Robin, I said, I got to get back on everything. So, so I was on the non-traditional sites and I rejoined the traditional sites. Okay. And so I think that's pretty much my story.
All right. Mark Levin, you mentioned Mark Levin, your husband, following or discovering him. And Mark Levin's the person that got me involved in Convention of States too. I mean, I've heard a lot of people that have come into Convention of States give him credit for influencing them to make that decision. So that's something a lot of people share.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a story, Marilyn. Quite a story. My goodness. And it goes on today, right?
Right. And the only other thing that I can add to that was that, I've witnessed and contributed to the growth of our social media efforts that we've had in Michigan. And what I remember, I don't know if I was as a social media warrior with Robin or if I was just helping my husband, but, we had a website, a Facebook, and a YouTube channel. And then when I got into the social media warrior role, we started the Instagram and the Rumble. And then recently we've done the X and LinkedIn and Truth. So I think we're pretty out there. I mean, there's more we could do, but I think we're really doing a pretty darn good job so far.
It. Well, tell me 2 questions for you. I have. Number one, do you we try to get people to engage. Do you debate on social media? Now, there's a difference between, in my opinion, there's a difference between engaging and debating. Do you get involved in debating?
I personally don't debate. However, and I don't do it as much as I think like Ron. Ron does a lot of communicating and he's excellent at that. He should be answering this question, but for myself, I will say that I do. If somebody is confrontational, or if they show that they don't understand something, and it's in a thread that I'm involved in, I will speak up and put out the truth as I know it. But I don't go in looking for debating with people.
Robin, Ken, do you encourage your warriors to debate?
No.
Yeah, Robin says no. I don't either. I think by putting out, as Marilyn had said, by putting out the truth, a lot of times the truth is all you need. However, I do say that, rather than get into any type of argumentative situations with people, I tend to say, back up what you're saying with some facts.
Yeah.
Point them to a couple of good sources that talk about things, and basically try and get people to step back and take a bigger view. And it's hard, I know, and people sometimes, I think, and I know Robin said this earlier, don't let the word warrior scare you. I think the word warrior, when you in using it as we use it in Convention of States here, is more the fact that you have to realize we are in a fight. That we are in a fight to save our country. So, and I think Marilyn mentioned it as well. They decided they didn't want to sit on the couch. So, there's a difference between getting into an argument and debating and getting on, spreading the truth as we know it, as she said, and backing it up with facts. And then, you really have to let people discover it for themselves, I think, when if they're argumentative with you.
Yeah.
I would say I haven't seen a lot of deliberate provocation from our posts, but as we talked about this, I do remember something 4 or 5 months ago. And Ken, I did exactly what you said. I engaged. I want to engage with somebody when they do that. And I turned it around and I pointed them somewhere online to show that. And the guy came back and he had something else. And I said, show me. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, this is good because all the people who know him are reading this. And they're going to decide whether he's right or I'm right. And he got the last word. And that's okay, because I would rather sit down with somebody and discuss than go on and on online where, let's face it, in some ways, some people are very anonymous about things. So they feel free to say whatever with no accountability versus if you were sitting across the table from them and talking.
Yeah, I might add too that the a lot of times I think I can well, I'm looking for the word. I can put somebody a little bit more at ease who might have a different opinion, and I can do that by simply saying, were you aware of this portion of Article 5? Do you know? Have you read after or in Article 5? And most people, because I didn't. It wasn't taught in school, so to me it was something that wow, that is in our Constitution. So I'll invite people to say, go, here's a pocket copy. I can even you can highlight it and post it and say this is Article 5, part of our Constitution. Now, unless you don't agree that with our Constitution, or maybe it's something you want to get rid of, but it's in our Constitution, Article 5. It's there, and a lot of times people will back up a little bit and say, well, yeah, it is there.
This is where the training comes into play.
And that's where the training comes in.
You have to have some understanding of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Marilyn, I want to. We're getting close on our time here, but I wanted you give me an idea. Your typical day on social media. Are you responding to comments? Is that what drives your day, or do you have a kind of a routine or a pattern that you do?
My pattern is more of posting and getting the information out. And I also put out resources. And I'm speaking, certainly about on my own social media. I use that a lot to put out the resources and the source documents and things like that. I try to do that. I try to, so that's my personal. On our team accounts, I'm very busy with trying to get the posts out to the different platforms. And also I'm involved, I think probably because of what I experienced with, my Adobe Creative Cloud and things like that, that I've been involved with the newsletter and different things that I'm not saying I'm doing content, but I'm involved in some of that. And so my time is used up for Social Media Warrior is going to the sites. I'm going to every site 2 or 3 times a day. Now that's by choice. A person doesn't have to do that in social media. In fact, some of probably the best social media warriors they have their sites that they know and they're familiar with and they're using, and they're spending their time and their expertise on those sites.
And you said going to
different.
sites, you're looking for content to post. Is that what you're looking for?
I'm doing some of the reels and the videos and the reels, and
Okay.
Marilyn produces all
newsletter
of our videos, everything short form. She runs with it. She has free reign. She knows what we're working on, what our themes are. And as she said, one of the reasons that she came on board, she had these skills. And boy, when I saw that, she is posting content. We all make sure that we're responding to comments, but kudos to her for the amount of video that she has created for us and continues to create. Every time she says she's going to do a video, I'm going to say I've never asked her how long it takes to do one, but I have a background in television production. I know how long these things take. And I mean, we know that short form video is highly desirable on social media and gets shared. So it's a huge space she's created for us.
This is intriguing. Tell us about these videos that you do. If we should have had you provide us one here tonight to as a sample.
Yeah. Well, you mean as far as how I do them, or
what are they about? What are they about?
Oh, it depends on the platform that I'm mainly doing it for. However, let me start with our recruiting ones, because Robin, those are ones that we've used on all the platforms, right? And we recruit. Let's see, this month, I did one for district captain. I did one for event coordinator. I've done for the social media warrior, a state content writer, a videographer. So those were our 5 roles that we were pushing and recruiting and for this month. And those are videos that I've done. I might see something that's put up that maybe Robin or Ron have that they've spotted, and they're posting somewhere a flat post, not a video or anything like that, just a picture, a photo, or an article or something. And I might jump off on that and take that as an inspiration for a video that I think would
I would be
work.
very.
And,
excuse me. I'd be very interested in seeing one of these videos on recruiting, like for a district captain or for a state content writer. Ken, does that interest you too?
Well, of course.
I'm see how she's done this.
I got involved as a videographer, so that's right up my alley. And I think what Marilyn has described is someone who's got involved social media originally and has a creative spark within her, and saw the opportunity to take it up a notch. And so that, bam, she's taking it up a notch. And maybe you're a graphic artist. You got people out there that have graphic artist talent. And that's where you can use your creativity and your talent to take it up a notch. And I think that's what she's done here. Yeah. So, yeah.
I want to share, by the way, any of these videos are all on the Convention of States Michigan YouTube channel. One thing that Marilyn picked up on, we have a writer who's developed a series that we've labeled Federal Fritters, examples of the extremely wasteful ways that our government has spent our money. So he does about a blog a week. Well, Marilyn has started putting these into short form videos. they're great for getting that message across, like how much money, millions of dollars we spent getting mice drunk and watching how they acted, for example. So
What's the name of your Michigan YouTube channel?
oh, you think I know that? Convention of States. Let me pull it
I
up.
have it.
There you go. Thank
It's-
you, Marilyn.
It's at Convention of States MI.
At Convention of States, MI. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll put that in the chat. So if people want to go check it out there,
Yeah.
and when you say at, are you using the at sign or just AT?
The at sign.
The at sign. So at Convention of States,
Is that it? At Convention of States,
MI.
MI?
MI. Yep.
Okay.
So you can search that on YouTube.
There's a lot on also on Instagram, and that was a major reason. That was a reason we started with these, was to reach our audience on Instagram, because we were trying to get at some of the younger people that, and those that just maybe don't want to read, they just want to look at videos and reels. But at any rate, and so Instagram is Convention of States MI, also no at sign.
Okay. All right.
So that's where most of the videos you
Okay.
would see them. We
But
we have them on Rumble also. If you,
but
you know,
folks,
but
you
anyway,
don't to get involved with being a social media warrior, you do not have to have the skills that Marilyn has.
yes, and I just want to say Ron's explanation of a social media warrior, was perfect. It was spot on. I'm a little different because of my background, I guess, but Ron was spot on with his.
Right. And we don't have time tonight, but I know we've discussed this briefly before. And Maryland is an example of really where a lot of this is headed with our current situation here with shorts and reels. And we don't have time to discuss that tonight. Maybe that's another program. But certainly, if that's an area that you're involved in out there and want to take that up a level, you can do it with Convention of States. There's no doubt about it.
Well, folks, if you're listening to this tonight, give us some thought. We need your help to join the Convention of States, become a supporter, and if you have any interest in social media at all, this is a perfect way to get started in Convention of States. I want to wrap it up tonight, guys, with a little video that one of our other guests that was scheduled to be on tonight that couldn't, Diana Tellis, and she's the state communications coordinator for Ohio. So we'll wrap it up with her. And Robin, Marilyn, I want to thank you both for joining us tonight. It's been very, very interesting.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Hopefully we have reached some people that maybe we weren't reaching before. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Ken, I'm going to play this video from Diana, and then you and I'll wrap things up. Okay?
Sounds like a plan there.
Hi there. I wanted to talk for a couple of minutes about Convention of States volunteerism and how I was drawn into Convention of States. I had been a volunteer many, many years, volunteering for various things as a stay-at-home mom and now as a homeschool mom. And I had a little desk time I could spend. But in 2020, I was uncomfortable with things I was seeing in the country. I was disappointed in the way things were going, and I felt the strong need to get involved at like a political level and in something worthy and effective. And I did happen upon a Convention of States ad on social media, actually, and read about Article 5 and how it worked. And I realized that is it. That's the trick that could really initiate true change in Washington, D.C., and I was sold. So I joined, and in 2020 as a DC, and now I am currently the state communications coordinator. You sort of grow with the program here, and I'm willing to put in a fair amount of time. Not everybody does. We all can, invest in the time that we have. It doesn't have to be near as much as what I'm doing. but I love it. I appreciate my coworkers very much so. We're all very like-minded, and it's such a joy to be near people like that. I live in an area where I enjoy my neighbors, but we're certainly not like-minded, and we do not have the same worldview. And it is a relief to be around people who share my concerns for the country, share the solutions for that, and sort of share, how I would like my culture to look, actually. So that is why I'm with COS, and so lucky to be with these people and to be in this effort. Thanks for listening.
Diana, tell us.
Short to the point. I think Diana did a good job of that.
Yep. Okay, well, that's a wrap, Ken. And I think we had a good session tonight. Good topic. Let's talk about, let's get kind of things wound up here. Our next broadcast is going to be on February 5th. We're almost, January is just about gone, Ken.
I don't know where it went.
They fly by anymore, don't they?
I tell you.
We're going to be talking on the 5th. We're going to be talking about a new program that's started in Convention of States, an intern leadership program. And we've got a couple interns in this program here in Indiana. And we're also going to introduce a new series that one of our region captains, Larry Hudson, is going to start off with. And we're going to have Larry come on about once a month and tell us about one of the founders and give us a little historical information on a founder. And this first founder that he's going to talk about on the 5th is George Mason, who's pretty much the author of Article 5 of the Constitution. So
it's a great place to start. Yep.
Good starting point, isn't it? Sure is. So that's what's coming up on the next broadcast, February 5th. Now, our next roundtable will be February 26th. This is where we devote the broadcast to a panel discussion on a particular topic. And our last roundtable, which was on January 22nd, we talked about impeachment. Nothing much to talk about there, but we decided we were able to talk about that for quite a while. So we haven't picked a topic yet for this next roundtable on the 26th, but it'll be a good one, I'm sure. We get a lot of good response to the roundtable broadcast. So that's what's coming up here in the near future, Ken. I just want to mention before we sign off here that our email address, raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. If you got any comment or question about our broadcast tonight and weren't able to get it in, so please send us an email, raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. Any other comments or questions, Ken, that
No. And once again, we apologize for the connection problem between StreamYard and our YouTube channel. We've had some background changes, which I think have caused a little bit of a disconnect between us and StreamYard. So we're hoping to get that fixed and get the YouTube channel back up and running. So we kind of were broadcasting to half the nation tonight. So Dale,
Yeah.
we look to get that wrapped up here.
All right. I tell you, this technology is
it's always a challenge.
It's great when it works. It's great when it works. Yes. Well, Ken, we're going to close out our broadcast like we normally do with a Mark Meckler video, The Day I Quit Fighting. And so we'll close out that. And for right now, thank you all for joining us this evening. And hopefully, like Ken said, we didn't get the YouTube tonight, but we'll have the recording on there. So you can catch us in that way by watching the recording. So, Ken, have a good evening.
You too, sir.
And good night, everyone. Look forward to seeing you next Monday on the 5th of February. So here we go.
I struggle to empathize with people who would give up. It doesn't make sense to me. Sam Adams said, for those of you who prefer safety and security over liberty, over the animating fight for liberty, I hope that you enjoy licking the hands that feed you. May your chains rest lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you are our countrymen. Like, do you understand that your kids and you are sentencing your kids and your grandkids and your friends' kids and your neighbors' kids to a lifetime of slavery and servitude, literally, of fear, of living in the darkness? But never, ever, never, never, never give up. George Washington lost the majority of his battles that he fought in the American Revolution. If you read his writings, if you read the letters where he was writing to Congress asking for money and troops, he was saying, we're losing. I don't have the troops I need. I don't have the supplies I need. Did he quit? What about the guys on the beach at Normandy? Like, what did they do? Did they just quit? Oh, there's, a lot of guys are dying around me. It's really bad. It looks really dismal. Those cliffs are huge. Machine gun fire raining down on us. And it's too hard. We should just quit. Thank God those people didn't quit. If they had, where would we be? I get discouraged, for sure. And I will quit fighting at some point. And that point is when the first shovel of dirt hits the top of my box 6 feet down.